Welcome to Key Conversations, the podcast where we talk about all the things to inspire you to have a creative and fulfilling music career. So today I want to talk about the word acknowledgement, and not just for what is going on in the world, which is a huge part of why I've been seeing this word pop up, but also acknowledgement of where you are in your career, where you are in terms of how well you know yourself and what you stand for and your brand and how you describe your music and the whole spectrum of things. I think it's easy to get caught up with, I shouldn't do anything right now because I want to be sensitive to what's going on in the world. And that is amazing, and I encourage that. And there's a way to find balance and to keep creating content and being responsible and acknowledging what's going on while also not suppressing yourself. So I am, as you know, fully in support of Black Lives Matter, and I am working to do more listening, more learning, more unlearning, which I know is part of this process for me, hosting Facebook Lives on the In the Key of Success Facebook group, which I invite you to join. Go to inthekey.co/FB group, Facebook group, FB group, or you can just search In the Key of Success in Facebook. And we're going live and we're talking to Black members of our community and just hearing different voices and talking about their music and their perspective. And it's a really amazing learning experience for me to step out of my comfort zone and to admit I do not know how to have these conversations, that I'm so committed to learning, and I'm so committing to making a massive shift. I am donating to NAACP. I have put out a list of resources at inthekey.co/BLM that is constantly growing. I'm pulling from other people's resources, books and movies and podcasts and speeches and people to follow. My Instagram feed is, a few years ago I committed to following people that don't look like me. And I've upped that effort exponentially in the past few weeks. So those are the things I'm doing in acknowledgement of the boiling point that we've reached and in support of making a change that lasts. So that is what I wanted to acknowledge today in terms of where I've come from last week in this conversation. I want to talk about you and what you're doing in your career, because that is what this podcast is about. And I am wrapping up this 4th season where we followed my journey on making a record and releasing it. I will update you on how the journey to getting a Grammy nomination goes. The first game was getting on the Billboard charts, the second game, getting a Grammy nomination, and looking at, okay, did we hit that goal? And if not, did that mean we lost the game? Or are there other wins that we can acknowledge and look at the big picture? So one of the things that we need to, and I'm just going to keep using this word acknowledge all over the place here, is take a look at where you are in your career and really get real with yourself. I like to look at a career in 5 stages. I actually would call them phases, and we can constantly, it's kind of like a cycle, right? You're going to be moving through these phases, and in certain projects you might feel like you're in one phase, but when you really look back and really get real with yourself, you're in one of these 5 phases. So the first one is learning and determining. This means that you are learning about the industry, you're learning what's possible, you're determining what it is you want rather than just blindly following a path because you saw some famous person do this, so therefore you should do it. That's a big mistake I see a lot of musicians make, and the ones that are in this learning period, it's okay that you're trying things out. You're taking on internships, you're exploring, you're listening to tons and tons of podcasts. By the way, I'm always learning. It's not to say that once you move on to the next phase that you're done learning. That's not the case here. But you are really, this is where your work is, in learning and then determining what it is you want, because we can't go from point A to point B if we don't know where point B is. But we can meander a little bit and say, okay, what do I want point B to look like? And then determine what that is. The second phase is creating and making. This is where you decide, okay, I'm going to make something. I'm going to write songs. I'm going to make a record. I'm going to create a course. I'm going to create a teaching program. Whatever it is that you're going to create, you have to have that to move through to the next phase. I had a client that I was working with who's a musician who wanted to win a CMA for her record. And I said, okay, what do you need to win a CMA? Let's work backwards. And she said, well, I guess I need fans, and I guess I need a manager, and I guess all these other things. So I said, well, where are you in the record process? Is it released yet? And she's like, well, I've only have one song. So we have to really know what the path is and what the work is in order to move forward. And for her, she was super clear. She had determined in phase 1 where she wanted to go, and now she needed to create. And she was skipping this phase of creation. Once you have created your thing, and of course we are always creating, so again, even though we've finished this phase and we've moved through, it doesn't mean that we don't go back and we don't create more and we don't fine tune and master each of these phases. So phase 3 is really setting your foundations. And I like to call this stage, what do I call this stage? I have a fancy name for it and I just need to look at it. Oh, preparing and sharing. So this is not sharing like promoting, getting it out there. It's really sharing with people in your life, creating your team, preparing, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Are those songs registered? Are they set up for metadata? So if you're going for licensing and pitching, you've got it all organized on your computer. Are you building a team? Do you have a plan? Have you set up your email system? Have you done what you need to do to welcome in new subscribers, new potential fans? This is where you are setting a lot of foundations to grow off of once you have your content. Once you've gone through this phase, you can always come back and fine tune it, right? But then you're going into the 4th phase of pitching and promoting. Pitching and promoting is where you are getting your music out into the world. So you can't be in this phase if you don't have something that you've created. You can't skip phase 2 and go to pitching and promoting. You've got nothing to pitch and promote. You can't go to pitching and promoting successfully, at least, if you've skipped phase 3. If you're pitching to licensing companies and they say, okay, cool, send us the tracks with all the metadata embedded, you're going to be scrambling to do that setup work, to get your copyrights, to get all the things handled. So you need to have done phase 3, in order to have a successful pitching and promoting session where you can really just hang out in this phase and do it well and be in the mindset and not have to jump around and tire yourself out because you're jumping from phase to phase. Once you're in the world of, okay, I've got this pitch handled, I've done Cheryl's perfect pitch course, I am like masterful at getting responses and getting yeses, and now you're in phase 5. This is the monetizing and maintaining phase. This is where you are now responding, you're getting yeses, you're showing up for the gigs, you're going back and you're tweaking your systems, you're changing your welcome series a little bit, you're adding new content to your nurture series and your email list, you're going back and you're ready to invest back into yourself, so you're going to go back to learning something new, you're going to take a new course or join a membership. I highly encourage you to join mine and continue to grow. So you're cycling through, and if you're watching the video, you can watch me gesticulate here. You're cycling through these 5 phases, and every time you come through them again, you're raising and raising and raising the bar for your career. You are making money on your efforts. You are responding and able to invest back in yourself. So I would encourage you to take a look at which one of these phases are you in. Are you in learning and determining? Are you in making and creating? Are you in the preparing and sharing phase? Are you in pitching and promoting, or are you in monetizing and maintaining? And you might have some projects that they're done and you're making money on them, but you might also have something else where you're like, I need to learn about this. So take a step back and don't worry about the minutia, the micro projects you've got going on that all might be in different phases. But where do you feel like as an artist you're hanging out? What phase are you in? And this is what we want to acknowledge. If you can acknowledge which phase you're in and really get real, and there's nothing wrong with any of these phases, by the way, like nothing wrong to feel like, yeah, I'm still learning, I'm still figuring this out, I'm in 1, or I'm in creating phase, but I've been really trying to be in phase 4. I'm really trying to be pitching my 1 song, but I know I should be creating more. That's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with any phase, and it's just a journey that you're on, and you want to move through these phases and be supported in moving through each phase. this is the structure that my membership group is based on. No matter what phase you're in, you're getting tools and support to help you move through to the next phase. It kind of gives you a great context on what to do next, and it gives you permission. Once you can acknowledge where you are, it gives you permission to really be present in that phase and really do the work that needs to get done in that phase so that you can kick butt in the next phase. So I strongly encourage you to join the In the Key of Success Facebook group. There's a really cool poll in that group where you can fill out and sort of determine for yourself which phase you're in, acknowledge it, love on it, and really own who you are, what you stand for, and what is coming for you. Get excited for that next phase. And it doesn't mean that you can't get excited if you are like, all right, I'm in this phase, but I want to be in this phase. A lot of people really hate phase 3, PS, like setting up all that admin work, and like setting up your emails and doing all that back end work, but we hang out in that phase and do the work that we need to do so that we can have a fantastic phase 4 and phase 5. So we can pitch like a boss, so we can monetize the heck out of this, and we can continue and go back to phase 1 and start to learn more and grow and create more and just step it up every step of the way. So that is this podcast episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe. Please share this with the people that you know and love in your life. I think that if you can get your head wrapped around where you are and give that blessing to other people as well, self-awareness is such an empowering thing in general. Knowing what you know and also acknowledging what you don't know. And that is okay to say out loud. I've been trying to get better at that as well. Just say, this is what I don't know how to do. This is what I'm committed to learning. And this is where I am right now. And I'm on a journey. So I invite you to figure out which of these phases you're in. I invite you to join the In the Key of Success Facebook group. And I invite you to check out the resources I've created for learning about racial injustice in this country. Go to inthekey.co/BLM and subscribe to this podcast, to the YouTube channel, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much.